Hello and welcome to Pop Culture Shark, a live show about all things pop culture. I'm Final Monkey,
And I'm Caleb.
and today we are looking at all the Marvel announcements from last week. We got bombarded out of nowhere with three big time announcements. So we're going to discuss those in the state of Marvel. But before all that, Caleb, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I've been watching some Law and Order this week, which we all know means that I have been sick.
Uh
Um,
oh.
yeah. So for those of you who don't know, I have like an autoimmune disease, Crohn's. So I get sick a lot. Um, if I'm not careful, and I suppose I just have not been careful. Um,
Doesn't help living in the Ohio Valley area.
no, it doesn't. It
No.
doesn't. um, but so there's that. I uh I watched the first two episodes of the Halo show, season two. It is a lot better than season one already. It's not saying much, but there is promise. Um, I do groan every time Master Chief takes off his helmet, but whatever. Which, you know what I realized? The actor who plays Master Chief, Pablo Schreiber. First of all, he is Liev Schreiber's half brother, which I think is funny.
Hmm.
Um, but Pablo Schreiber actually played like a major, like season long bad guy in Law and Order SVU. Like he played Benson's nemesis. And so that's all I can see whenever Master Chief takes off his helmet is he just needs like his scar and like his vendetta against Benson.
You just need to hear the hammer say don't don't
Don't
every time he
don't.
takes off the helmet.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Um but yeah, that I mean that's really it as far as pop culture for me. Just been keeping up with the announcements. I will say I think the Super Bowl commercials were kind of mid this year overall. Like they weren't great.
I think they've been mid for a few years now. It's not just this year. It's
Yeah.
some of
So
the some of the specialness has gone away.
for me, I think my highlight was probably Turk and JD having a musical number with Jason Momoa. That that's gonna be my highlight. Um, and the he gets us stuff. I mean I didn't get it. Like I don't understand what it was about, but whatever.
If we get into that conversation, that'll be the whole show, and
Yeah,
maybe that's a Daniel episode one day.
that might be it. Right. Um, yeah, yeah. Well, I'll just end it by saying I didn't understand it. I don't get it, and maybe we'll get Daniel's opinion on it next
Okay, I talked to him a little bit about last week actually. So
month.
so anyhow, as for me, other than the Super Bowl, not a whole lot of pop culture. I've been watching Vine Sauce play RimWorld and really kind of got into that. So that was most of my week was watching that. I haven't really read anything other than One Piece. Trying to think of anything else pop culture wise. Not really. Just been kind of a busy week. So
Yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah, that's really been it. It's just a busy week, and Cameron and I are still packing up for moving. So
nice. Oh, I watched some riff tracks. I always watch riff tracks. I just fell in the
yeah.
middle.
All
So
right. So moving on to news, I find this to be interesting. Um, so walk me through this because I thought that this movie was coming out, but apparently Coyote v Acme is not coming out now.
So this movie has been done for like a year and a half. People who have seen it, movie directors like James Gunn, um, I think one of the Russo brothers commented on it, have said it's like one of the best movies they've ever seen. Uh, saying it's one of the best Looney Tunes movies ever made, and Warner Brothers decided that it was going to be cheaper to do a tax write off, and a lot of directors said no, 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 you got to release this, so they started shopping it around instead. A little bit of bidding war um, erupted, and then I don't remember the amounts, but Warner Brothers won some extremely high amount, and nobody was willing to put up that much money. And so now it looks like time is running out that if they're going to do a tax write off, it's going to be very soon. And so there's a good chance this movie will never be seen ever. And in the past, I have defended Zaslav. I cannot defend him on this one. I'm very frustrated with this one, especially with Wile E. Coyote being one of my favorite characters. It's like, come on. Really?
Who was it that was supposed to be in that? Like, I know Will Forte was playing his attorney, right?
I think John Cena is in this.
That's who it was. I was like, I feel like there's someone else in it. John Cena was like CEO of Acme or something like that.
Yeah, and so like the Batgirl cancellation I totally understood. This one, I'm kind of scratching my head. Like, what are you doing? Looney Tunes can and should be one of your biggest brands. Well, I don't understand it.
Yeah,
and I'll play devil's advocate for Zaslav for a minute. He is in a extremely difficult position. AT&T and Warner Brothers and everybody ran that company into the ground before he took over. Like we talk about Disney being in debt. Warner Brothers is way more in debt. Like they were like hundreds of billions in debt. And so when he took over, he was instructed, you have to save X amount of money no matter what. So, I get it why he cancels things and does weird stuff. He has to, but this one I can't get on board with.
Yeah, especially because like they released Aquaman.
I feel like this would make way more money than Aquaman if you would release it in theaters.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, and
especially when you don't have anything good coming out, just release this. Like during the summer, you could, there's gonna be a lot of holes in the summer where nothing's coming out. Just drop this, and it would make money.
Yeah.
And then I guess they're a little triggered shy after Space Jam 2 failed, but that was because Space Jam 2 was a sucky movie.
Yeah, I mean, like here's my hot take. Okay, there's a lot of things going up against Space Jam 2. That one came out during COVID, right?
Did it?
It came out during
towards the end of COVID, I would say.
I mean, I think it was towards the end of COVID, but like it was still like simultaneously released on Max.
It was July 2021 when it came out.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that was still released on Max, simultaneously released. So there's that, and there's also the fact that here we go, Caleb's hot take. It's a sequel to a sucky movie.
Oh yeah, I'm not a big Space Jam fan either. So you're not telling me anything I don't know. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like whenever you say that like one of the greatest the best Looney Tunes movie is what you're describing this, I'm like, what's its competition? Back in Action? Like, yeah. Which I love Back in Action.
Yeah, Back in Action is pretty good.
But like, putting anything up against a Space Jam or Space Jam 2, I mean, like, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
You know what? That's one thing that I have been watching lately. I have been watching the Looney Tunes show lately.
It's great.
I mean, like,
Daffy Duck is so funny out there.
Oh my god, no! I'm just like, Lola is like the funniest.
Oh yeah, it's Kristen Wiig. Yeah, it's very funny.
I do love my favorite gag from Looney Tunes show is Daffy thinks that the bathroom key is a dumb idea. It's like, what am I going to do? Steal a toilet? And then later on, he's like, "Hey, can you hold on to this for me? It's a really good toilet." um, but yeah, we'll see if we see this movie. Who knows?
It's gonna take a miracle, and who knows? Maybe there'll be some last minute decision. Maybe someone at Apple will cough up some money. Who knows?
Maybe. Next up, we got some Joker Folie Adieu. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. But we got some pictures. I have no idea what this movie is going to be.
I think, I have not seen the first Joker movie.
Yeah,
I think this.
Oh, go ahead.
I think this could be the surprise hit of the year. Like
Oh yeah,
mega hit, like a Lady Gaga Joker musical. I just think that this could be a way bigger hit than people are expecting.
Oh yeah. Well, so this movie needs a show-stopping number that like all the girls are gonna use for their auditions at school.
Yeah.
Like, did you ever see Greatest Showman with Hugh Jackman?
I have not. I know your family's really big in musicals. We're not
Oh,
so much, but every once in a while I'll dabble in
okay.
musicals. Yeah.
So Never Enough, which is Rebecca Ferguson's song. I mean that when that came out, every and that was whenever I was helping out with my brother's um like his drama group. Every audition was Never Enough, and so this definitely needs to have some sort of a. I bet you Shallows, the other Lady Gaga song from that movie. Um, oh, what is that movie?
I
Stars.
only know the the bad lip reading version or whatever. Chocolate Lagoon or whatever it's called.
Let's see. A Star is Born. Okay, I never saw it. But Shallow. I mean, that was one that like everybody was doing for their auditions.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like if this has a song that every teenage girl does for their high school auditions, I mean, I can definitely see this being a hit.
I could also see this movie bombing. It could go either way, but I'm leaning towards massive hit. This is the one everybody's kind of sleeping on. I think it'll probably make more money than Deadpool 3. I'll throw that out there.
I don't know about that, but that's just because like you got Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, like that sells.
Yeah, but it's also rated R. So, but this one is too.
Yeah,
but Joker being rated R didn't stop it last time.
it's true. And you said you never seen it. Taking the memes and the patriarchy and whatever else out of it, Joker is actually just a really good movie. Like you can take the society memes and all that. It's really good. So yeah, I'm excited for this. I keep forgetting about it.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be one of those ones that just comes out of nowhere and people are like, oh, what is this?
I mean, that's kind of what Joker was.
Yeah.
So okay, so Xbox, not first party. Uh,
Well, I mean, they kind of said the opposite, but I don't know. I don't know how much I trust what they're saying. Like, you don't want to say, "Oh, yeah, we're abandoning it," because then everybody's going to abandon your platform. And you still want to sell Xboxes. So I'm not sure. The news that we did get was that 4 of their titles would be jumping over to multi-platform. But they would not name the 4 titles, but we're pretty sure we know what they are.
Hi-Fi Rush is definitely one of them.
Yeah. I think it was Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves is definitely going to be another one.
Grounded is likely. That makes sense. And then Pentian or something. I don't know what it was called. Something.
I think Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves are guaranteed.
Pentiment was the 4th one. Okay. Yeah, I would love for Xbox to go the Sega route or whatever and put Game Pass on every system they can. And I think that especially if Switch 2 can handle it better, I could see this happening.
Oh yeah.
Switch 2 is not on our list. We're supposedly getting a announcement about it next month, and with a launch in early 2025 is the rumors that we're hearing.
I don't believe it.
You don't believe it? Okay.
Oh yeah, I mean you know I'm anti Switch 2 propaganda.
Okay.
How do you feel about Sony saying that PS5 is in its latter half of its life cycle?
That's ridiculous. I heard that and I was like, okay, if you all start doing that and start releasing a system every 4.5 years, you will kill the PlayStation brand. That's kind of what killed the Sega brand back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, legit, there are like 5 exclusives. Like,
not only that, you couldn't find a PlayStation 5 for the first year or two of the system, so it doesn't even feel like it's been 4.5 years.
Yeah.
It feels like it's only been 2.5.
Yeah. More and more, I'm like, maybe I should just go straight PC and Nintendo. Like, that's...
Yeah, I don't know much about them, but I've been tempted by like a Steam Deck or something like that, or
something like that.
Yeah, because I don't play a lot of AAA games anyways. I'm more of a indie type game person, small games. So yeah,
plus Riot is taking over the world, and you don't need a whole lot to run League or Valorant. So
yeah.
So now we're gonna play a game. I'm just throwing this on you.
Okay.
So Madam Web,
oh boy,
has released. Which, by the way, I think this is hilarious. I've read up on this movie, and apparently they play this completely straight with Sydney Sweeney. She is supposed to be like, she's supposed to be like this Peter Parker, like pre-Spider-Man nerd. They're playing this completely straight, and I'm like, that is Sydney Sweeney, you swine. That's also. Did you know that? So, spoilers for Madam Web. Whoever cares. Adam Scott plays Uncle Ben, who Ben Wyatt from Parks and Rec. Guess who plays Mary Parker, Peter Parker's mom?
Who?
Emma Roberts.
Okay.
Like you're trying to sell me on this movie with sexuality of Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney.
I was about to say, why isn't Emma Roberts the star of the movie?
Yeah, and that is Chanel Oberlin. Okay, that is Nancy Drew. Do you ever think that Emma Roberts calls up her aunt Julia Roberts and apologizes?
I don't know.
I just got a lot of jokes to make about Madam Web. That's really what this is. I don't know if you heard about this. Did you hear that somebody got kicked out of a movie theater of Madam Web?
No.
So apparently he had his ham sandwich to Sydney Sweeney in the movie theater. He was pulling a Reuben.
Okay.
And I'm just like, are you kidding? The one guy who was enjoying this movie, and you just
threw him out.
Okay.
Kick him out.
So on to the actual game. So I have this post. It's all of these events happen in Madam Web except one. Can you guess which one is the lie?
Okay, and I have not. I mean, I read the rumors, but I have not read the movie's actual spoilers, so I don't know what was actually in the final film.
Right. I'm just going to tell you these things, and you just got to tell me which one is the lie.
Okay.
Madam Web is born in a cave in Peru with the help of magic spider people.
Okay.
The 3 spider women never get their powers and are only seen in costume during dream sequences.
I predicted that one before the movie came out. But go on.
Evil Spider-Man is killed by a large Pepsi sign.
Okay.
Madam Web becomes wanted for kidnapping by the NYPD. Madam Web runs down evil Spider-Man in her car on multiple occasions.
Okay.
Peter Parker is born but not named,
Yeah. Okay.
and Madam Web inexplicably splits into 3 ghost-like copies of herself near the end of the movie.
It's like the ending of what was it, Highlander Endgame or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's the one where she's wanted by the NPD or NYPD or whatever you said.
So it's a trick question. These all happen in the movie.
Okay. I picked the one that seemed the most normal.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, it's so apparently, really, the lie is Madam Web runs down evil Spider-Man in her car on multiple occasions. Apparently, the trick question is that it's not her car. She keeps stealing cars. But oh my god, this
I'm gonna say this. I don't get Dakota Johnson as an actress other than she was in 50 Shades of Grey. She's just one of those actresses that does like nothing for me.
uh I can understand that. She does do things for me. You know what, you got me curious though, because like you know what, she was in this movie that I saw with Shia LaBeouf called The Peanut Butter Falcon.
Okay, yeah, I know what movie you're talking about. Yeah, with the wrestler.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
So she was in that, and she was great. And she was in Bad Times at the Bad Times at the El Royale, and she was also great. So those are the two where I'm like, if you want to watch Dakota Johnson do a good job, those are the two.
okay.
And then Sydney Sweeney. I got to be honest, I don't think I've ever seen her in anything. I've never watched Euphoria, and I've never watched anything else. But I definitely know who Sydney Sweeney is.
Gotcha.
Uh,
Understood.
yeah. And then Emma Roberts is Emma Roberts. I mean,
Yeah, I like Emma Roberts quite a bit. So yeah.
I mean, like, a nepo baby who is better than their predecessor, and I will argue that. Okay,
Sure.
I love Julia Roberts, but Emma Roberts, Roberts 2.0 right there.
There you go.
So so that is it for news. Oh, whoops. Yep, that is it for news. So going into our discussion on the future of Marvel, I thought this would be an apt time to revisit our tier lists that we made. Was it last year? Something like that?
Yeah, it was.
I think it was.
before Guardians 3's. Before it was probably before Black Panther 2, I think.
I think Thor: Love and Thunder had just come out.
Yeah, yeah. So it's been a while.
So this one is yours.
Okay. So I'm just kind of glancing at this. I haven't looked at this in a long time. I think the only movie I've seen since this was probably Guardians 3.
Where does that go? First of all, are there any changes currently that you would make?
Not really. I haven't really rewatched any of these. So my opinion really hasn't changed on any of these. It would be somewhere with the other two Guardians movies. Somewhere in the top 4, from 2 to 4, it would be in there somewhere.
So Infinity War is still better than Guardians 3 for you.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
I'm a Thanos is my boy.
Yeah.
So that's the Thanos movie. Yeah.
All right. So
not that I love every moment of that movie. There are parts of that movie I do not like. But
I think there's a whole third of that movie that's bad.
I agree, but the Thanos makes up for it. That is my favorite comic book story like almost of all time.
Are we agreeing on the same thing that like Iron Man and Thor's storylines are great, but it's Cap's storyline that brings it down?
Yeah, the whole Wakanda sequence until the end when Thanos shows up is a very, like, you could edit out a huge chunk of that.
Yeah. And so mine, this is mine. I actually I have a third one that's going to be like my new list because I've made a lot of changes, not just based on the ones that I've seen since then because I've still seen all of them. Uh but I've also made some changes because I'm like recency bias is a thing, you know?
Hmm.
I've also moved some tiers around. So um I definitely I definitely put Thor: Love and Thunder too high. Um,
Where did you have it? I don't remember.
oh, it's above the first Thor movie in A tier
Okay.
because I watched it and I'm like, well, it wasn't great, but it was the best Thor movie I've seen. It's not. The first Thor movie is still way better.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, let's just go ahead, and I've moved more stuff into Eternals tier. So this is the new list. Oh, I've also added Werewolf by Night and Guardians Holiday Special just because I wanted to.
Yeah, and I
So
think I think for me it'd probably be about where you have them ranked. Werewolf by Night as an S and Holiday Special as an A. Yeah, that seems
yeah.
about right.
So these are my top four. Guardians Volume 3 I think is the best MCU movie, and it's not even close.
Okay.
Civil War, I still love it. Winter Soldier, Werewolf by Night, and so then I've made the S tier a lot larger. I'm sorry, I made the A tier a lot larger.
Hmm.
Um, I used to have Endgame higher than Infinity War, but I switched them around. Um, B tier are like the harmless movies. Like I don't think that there's anything offensive in B tier. um, like the Marvels. I still think that that is a very harmless movie, and you're not going to gain anything. You're not going to lose anything. Same with Thor: Love and Thunder.
So you
All
have
these,
is that Iron Man 1 there in B tier? That's
yeah.
interesting. Okay.
Oh, that didn't change. That's always been there.
Okay.
Now the C tier, Wakanda Forever, Dark World, Captain Marvel, and Ant Man. These are just movies that I don't remember. These are movies that are that these are movies that like do not stick with me at all.
Yeah, I agree with Ant Man and the Wasp. I remember that involved Ghost, but I don't. That's
Yes.
about all I remember. And I remember that there was an ant playing the drums, which I thought was still one of the greatest scenes in a Marvel movie.
And Lawrence Fishburne is Goliath.
Is he? I can't. I'm not even sure he was in the movie. That's how bad I do not remember those films. Oh, and there was some scene where uh, Paul Rudd was talking with Michelle Pfeiffer's voice or something. I don't remember.
Some
It's
yeah, something
okay.
like that. So the sole D tier is Thor Ragnarok. The D stands for dumb. This movie's dumb.
I don't know if it deserves that much hate, but we have discussed in the past why Thor Ragnarok is not as good as everybody says it is.
Yeah, and then I've expanded Eternals tier. These are movies that I just actively hate.
Okay.
I find Far From Home to be personally insulting to me. Quantumania, of course. Black Widow. I mean, this is just travesty. And then Eternals has its own tier named after it, so it's got to be the champion. So
Yeah.
essentially, these are my top four, and these are my bottom four.
So I will argue just a smidge for Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters, so I have vague memories of it. I do remember enjoying Night Monkey or whatever his other costume was, and I do remember that the Mysterio illusion sequence was a lot of fun. That it felt like like the old Steve Ditko comic fight or whatever. So those are the two things I'd say that movie has going for it. But I get why you dislike it.
Yes, very much so. Um, and looking at this, like I feel pretty. like there's no recency bias in this one. This tier list, I feel 100% confident that this will be it for right now.
Okay. And
Uh,
as we've always said, we will disagree about movies on here, but that's fine. Everybody has
yeah.
their own opinion, and it's fine. If someone likes Marvels, then great. I don't care. It's okay if I don't like it, so or choose not to see it. Like let me rephrase that. I have not seen either of the Captain Marvel movies, nor will I be seeing either of the Captain Marvel movies.
I mean, if the best one is B tier, I think that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
So, like if my review of the Marvels is it will not offend you, like that's like what kind of review is that?
Did you hear that one of the scenes they were talking about doing, and I guess they changed it, was that Carol Danvers and the main villain were going to both explode at the end?
I
And
did
I,
hear I did hear about that.
I would assume then that she would have been the one to wake up in the X-Men universe, then like she had reformed as binary or something. That would have made
Maybe.
sense. But
I the only thing that I would think is it's more of like a Harrison Ford thing where Brie Larson's like, just get me out of here. Like,
yeah, and she's commented wasn't sure if she was coming back after that. Maybe that's because that scene was being discussed, where she's like, "Okay, are they just going to blow me up and that's it?" So maybe she didn't know for sure.
I mean,
Um,
honestly, yeah, like in the context of the movie, it wouldn't have fit. But
well, I think that movie had major cuts and rewrites from what I've heard. So
yeah,
who knows? So yeah, before we jump into the three big announcements, let's rewind to when Endgame was coming out. I was the biggest MCU supporter. I was getting people to watch these movies that had never seen these. I was getting people in the theaters. Uh, I was all on board.
now for me, I was in a different camp because I was around the time of Thor Ragnarok. I was experiencing the fatigue, so uh, I was definitely in a different mindset than you were.
Okay. Um, but that being said, as soon as they had, I don't remember if it was at Comic Con or whatever, where they announced the next movies coming out, I said, "Uh oh, this is not the." They had just bought Fox, and they announced, "Okay, our movies coming out is Black Widow, Eternals, Blade was the big surprise announcement. I think Fantastic Four was briefly mentioned.
I think Blade was the surprise announcement for Feige too.
Yeah, like I think they had made that decision like the night before or something reportedly. I'm trying to Shang-Chi. Um, I think there was some other way, but just seeing that slate, I was like, oh no, this is not what you need to be following these up with. And Guardians of the Galaxy 3 at that time, I think, was in limbo. We didn't know if that was ever going to come out. So yeah, so way back then, I think that was like 2018, 2019, somewhere in there. I was like, no, this is bad. Everything's about to fall apart. And so here we are 5, 6 years later, and that has basically happened. The TV shows, I'd say like 75% of them are not good. The movies we've had, I think Guardians 3 was great, Spider-Man was great, and then I have trouble finding one that was great after that. Your opinion's a little different. I know you like Shang-Chi a lot, or
I do. I do.
Shang-Chi. Um, but yeah, this we're in a very different spot than we were when we were going into Endgame. Uh, a lot of us have lost faith in Marvel and Disney, Star Wars, all that. So Marvel has to do something to win us back. I mean, they've had Werewolf by Night. We both agree was great.
Yes.
They've had their moments, but when you look at the slate of things coming out, it's like, oh, we're getting Thunderbolts, and it's none of the Thunderbolts in the comic books. We've been building the Young Avengers for forever, and who cares? uh, and we've had movies that totally missed the mark, like Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. While I think it's a fine Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch movie, it's not what was advertised. And I was thinking the other day about how much in game the movie itself is a problem. The rules that are set up in in game, nobody understands, not even the writer and the director of the film. And none of the shows since then or movies have followed those rules. And so, like, for example, Doctor Strange said there's only one way to beat Thanos. And then we watch Doctor Strange 2 and they defeated Thanos. And you watch What If and Vision defeats Thanos. Or not Vision, Ultron defeats Thanos. And it's like, okay, there's multiple ways to defeat Thanos. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I feel like whatever tight control, if there ever was tight control over these movies, has slipped. Whether that's too much movies and TV shows under Kevin Feige's control, like he's extended too far. I personally think it's more of he's no longer working with the creators he was working with. He doesn't have the Russo brothers. He doesn't have James Gunn. He's Kenneth Bragan or whatever his name is. There's just a lot of these creators. The one guy you don't like to say his name, but Joss Whedon. There's just a lot of redacted. Yeah. He just doesn't have those creators behind him anymore. And it's more of, I've heard the way that Kevin Feige makes a movie is he goes, okay, I've got an idea for a scene. Let's make a movie around it. Like, here's your big action scene. Okay, let's figure out the movie. And I don't think that works anymore. Especially when you've done 25, 28, however many of these are,
33.
33. You can't keep doing it that way.
Well, that's like, try writing a joke backwards. Like come up with the punchline first. Like that doesn't work.
Yeah. So here we are. I know I was super excited when Disney bought Fox. Let me Google that real quick.
How do you feel about that?
Disney Fox purchase date. When was that? That was 2019. Okay, so that was 5 years ago.
That was before COVID. That doesn't even exist anymore.
Typically, a movie takes about 3 years to make, I'd say. From concept to da-da-da-da. You could get a superhero movie out in 3 years if you tried, right? You've had the rights to Fantastic Four and X-Men for 5 years, and we're just now. Well, okay. Well, we've got the X-Men cartoon coming out next month. We've got Deadpool 3, which is already an established franchise, coming out in July. Fantastic Four is probably coming out in 2026. So that's 7 years. And I'm assuming after Deadpool 3, they'll finally start announcing when the X-Men movies are coming out, but it probably won't be until after Fantastic Four. So you've sat on some of your biggest properties for 8 years, 7, 8 years, 9 years. This is ridiculous. Especially when they spent $70 billion, which is retarded. Pardon, my just got canceled. But it is. It really is.
Do you think that they? Do you think that their Fox buyout, despite them like buying these properties, do you think that they thought that they were above them?
Well, what happened was, I don't know how much you remember this. Bob Iger has an ego problem, and he keeps buying his way to success. He's like, oh, we don't have to be creative. We could just buy a property and be successful. And he really wanted Fox because they wanted X-Men Fantastic Four, and they wanted the library for Hulu. And Comcast wanted it also, but they knew that Iger was going to buy it no matter what. So Comcast just kept driving the price up over and over and over just to make Iger go higher and higher. And it got to 70 billion, which that company was not worth 70 billion at all. The fun fact is, Rupert Murdoch took that 70 billion and he invested it into Tubi, and Tubi is kicking everything's butt. It's a free service. You know, he's one of Disney's main competitors. He took all that money and did that. So, but that's side note. So if you look at the properties of Fox, Planet of the Apes is slowly coming back up. The Avatar movies have been successful, but most of that money James Cameron pockets. Disney doesn't pocket that, so Disney has very little to do with the Avatar movies.
Thank God.
They've had some decent. I think it's just one so far, but a decent Predator spinoff.
Oh yeah, I loved Prey.
They're making more of those. We got an Alien movie coming out this year, so they're starting to make some things with the Fox properties, but not enough again to justify the purchase. We're hearing rumors of Alita Battle Angel sequel, but even if they announce that tomorrow, that's still a good 2-3 years away. So yeah, they've kind of squandered Fox. And then on the Marvel side, I understand that they have cars already on the track, but you could have moved some of those cars to get Fantastic Four and X-Men going. So here we are, and we're going to go over the announcements, and you can see that I am frustrated with Marvel. I think that's the best way to describe it. I am frustrated. I've been playing Marvel Snap a lot, and those cards look awesome. And I'm like, these are the coolest characters in the world. Why isn't Marvel the king still? What have you done to the comic books, to the movies, to everything? But here we have 3 finally Fox announcements. That's why we've been talking about Fox. So let's go with X-Men 97. This is a continuation of the X-Men cartoon from the 90s. At the time, X-Men cartoon and Batman the Animated Series were like the 2 biggest things. At the time, I was more of an X-Men fan, and I've later become more of a Batman fan. But the X-Men cartoon was incredible. The plot lines didn't always make sense, especially towards the end.
Yeah.
But the theme song was awesome, and this really made X-Men a household name.
Yes.
They became very popular in the comic books in the 80s, just as Teen Titans did, but then X-Men followed that up with a cartoon, and just really these costumes became so iconic. It just, like I said, it made Gambit a very popular character, and Rogue. I mean, this was one of the necessary steps.
Dare I say it, Jubilee.
Yeah. Jubilee, who's not that popular character in the comic books, but here she was front and center.
He was kind of the main character for that first season.
Yeah, she was our Kitty Pryde intro character. So they have brought it back, continuing the story. The final episode of the cartoon, if I recall, had Xavier. He was dying, and they sent him off to Shi'ar space to get treatment, and Magneto took over the school.
Yeah.
So now we are picking up where that left off. There are some changes to the team. We got Bishop. Morph is back in action. And the trailer. Well, let me ask you, what did you think of the trailer?
There wasn't a whole lot to go off of with that trailer. There wasn't. My thing is I think the thing that made the original X-Men show so popular and why it has such staying power is because it's because even if it was a loose adaptation, they still adapted storylines.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not get that sense from the trailer. And even if they are adapting storylines, they're not big storylines.
I disagree, but they are very much hinting at a storyline that will be the first big one.
Which
Um,
one?
and that is that Jean Grey is pregnant in the trailer. Uh, so spoilers, that's not Jean Grey. That is Madeline Pryor, and we are going into Inferno. That seems to be where we are heading.
Okay.
And that was one of the storylines they did not cover in the original cartoon.
I definitely did not catch that.
Yeah, she's clearly pregnant in several of the shots. So yeah, that's not Jean. So my thoughts, uh it just the music and everything, all the nostalgia came back. Wolverine's voice did not sound right, but it's the same voice actor, but he was much more growly in his younger years. So
Yeah.
I can understand why he's not doing a growly voice. When I do puppeteering and do a growly voice, it is murder on the throat. So I get it. What else? So the animation, I think the animation looks bad. It is definitely a step back, and part of the problem is Disney no longer knows how to animate. We'll get to Rogue's
How
butt
dare they?
in a moment.
How dare they?
uh, but yeah, the animation looks subpar. And if you don't know, in the early 2000s, Disney fired most of their animators when everything started going to Pixar and computer generated. I think Princess and the Frog was the last traditional animated film. Is that, am I missing one? I think so. Um,
I think
so
I think that
yeah,
I think we got that right.
so unless they farm it out like they've done, like I think Ducktales was farmed out and stuff. It's just the animation looks very computer generated, like that cell shaded stuff. Um, so I don't know if I care about that too much. Uh, so there's been two big controversies. Um, one is that continuing the trend of Hollywood of making women less and less sexy. Rogue has been, she looks more like a stick figure than she used to.
How dare they?
How dare they? So a
You
lot of
got
people are mad about this.
you got to understand. Like she's not one of my on my main teams, but I play a lot of Rogue and Marvel vs. Capcom, and they got it right in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So once again, I ask honestly, that's the thing is like, is this overly done? Yeah, sure. But this isn't even a but.
Well, even go back up to the main cast. Storm is more shapely than Rogue in this picture.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they're drawing Rogue that way. Um, but yeah, it Rogue is a very popular character, and it's because of this cartoon. And it's definitely not because of, what was her name, Anna Paquin.
Yeah.
It was because of this cartoon. So the other controversy is Morph. A lot of it's been going around that they said in an interview he's non-binary or something, blah blah blah. I'll wait and see if that's going to become like a big story point. If it's just something mentioned in a bio in the back, who cares? But if it's like, if this shows, I'll go ahead and use the W word. If this show's woke and very different from how the old cartoon was, then I think there will be a lot of backlash. But if this is just straight up like the old show, X-Men action and adapting storylines, then I think it'll go over well.
So let me ask you this then: which is more likely?
Oh, the woke, definitely.
Okay. I was looking at some of like the major X-Men storylines just to see what they did and what they didn't adapt. So let's say that Inferno is the first major one that they do.
Mm-hmm.
I can see them maybe doing like 2 more after that. Because here's the thing, I think that like you can probably do E is for Extinction, but maybe not right out of the gate. Like you'd want to say that for later.
Yeah, we'll probably get like Operation Zero Tolerance, and because of their Sentinels in the trailer, and then we'll probably get what was that one? Onslaught.
I was about to say, what do you think about Onslaught? What about Executioner's Song? I think we could get that.
Yeah, but Xavier's gone right now. They'd have to bring him back.
It's
Well,
true.
you know, but yeah, if we're doing Inferno and the Birth of Cable, then that could lead into Executioner Song.
So,
I don't know.
so yeah, essentially all I'm saying is I don't think that we have too many before we get to E is for Extinction.
Oh yeah, yeah. We could see like a Legacy Virus storyline. They could do some New Mutant stuff. They could bring in what's it called, the Demon Bear Saga. They could do that.
I don't know if they want to do the Demon Bear Saga.
Well, you know, leave out the more controversial moments. Well, not
No,
after the movie came out, I guess. Yeah, yeah.
that's what I'm saying is like I mean that's what New Mutants movie was. It was the Demon Bear Saga, and so like I don't think you
Yeah.
want to remind people of that movie.
Well, the other thing is if you introduce the New Mutants to the cast, then are you starting to be more like X-Men Evolution at that point, where you have all these kids running around and yeah.
Which I still say that was a good show. You just have to take it on its own.
We could see White Queen be rehabilitated on the show. We could see her and Banshee form Generation X on the show.
Did you ever watch the Generation X TV movie?
I did. Yeah, back in the day.
Oh, back in the day. Okay.
Yeah, when I saw it when it premiered, I recorded it off of Fox. Yes, I had it recorded.
Okay. I saw it on like YouTube or something. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, for a TV movie when there wasn't any other superhero movies to really go off of, it's fine. Yeah. Oh, another thing. There's a scene where Wolverine is running. I think Gambit's running on his back and charges up Wolverine's claws.
Which is cool.
It's cool, but wouldn't Wolverine's hands explode and blow off his hands?
Maybe.
I mean, they regrow, but still, that's all I could think about is that wise? I don't know. I've heard that Sunspot will be on this show. Forge. I think that's the main ones I've heard. So I'm, even though the animation looks bad, even though it's probably gonna be woke, I'm excited. It's X-Men, and it's been too long since I've had some, classic X-Men.
I think Night of the Sentinels is some of the best. Night of the Sentinels is probably the best premiere of any superhero show.
Yeah. I mean, it gets straight to the point, how dangerous it is, and yeah, of course, I saw it when it premiered when it had all the animation errors and everything they've later fixed and stuff. So, season 1 of X-Men was a mess, animation wise. So, yeah, so this gets a cautious thumbs up from me. I will be there to watch this, but this could very easily go way off the rails. But we in the past we've done our favorite Marvel teams, and we both agree X-Men is the best.
Yeah.
So
X-Men is their Batman,
Yeah, X-Men is it really kept Marvel running for years. So
like here's the thing. The big three being Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor, that's still weird to me.
Yeah, it should not be, because when I started reading comic books in the 90s, the big three were Spider-Man, X-Men, and Wolverine. And then like under that was like Cable, Punisher, and Ghost Rider, or something like that.
And when I was a kid, the big three were Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Hulk.
Yeah.
Which
So
how weird is it that like Hulk going from one of the big three to getting the biggest shaft ever?
we could talk a lot about the mismanagement of Hulk at the MCU. They really need to get rid of Mark Ruffalo, but
Yes.
I don't see that happening anytime soon unless they do a reboot in here in 10 years.
Yeah.
Whatever Secret Wars happens, it keeps getting pushed back forever.
Well, and then they keep changing. Like it's going to be 2 parts. Oh no, it's not. Now it's going to be 2 parts. Like
So, speaking of Secret Wars, there was a Secret Wars comic book and the Deadpool trailer. I didn't know if you noticed that, but there is.
I yeah, I did notice that.
So during the Super Bowl, and I thought this was weird. They kept doing this during the Super Bowl. They would show teasers for the trailer, then you had to go watch the trailers online, and I just thought that was strange. um,
They probably didn't want to pay
well, yeah,
people.
the amount of time, and you also want to be able to say, "Oh, a billion people watched our trailer in 24 hours," or whatever,
Yeah.
online. So, uh, this trailer opens on Wade having a birthday party with all of his friends, some of which we thought were dead, but they are
Yeah.
there.
Well, and
And
the weirdest thing is it's not all of his friends because Cable and Domino are definitely not there.
yeah, um, and Weasel's not there, but there's reasons Weasel's not there that are in real life situation there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I loved Weasel.
Yeah. Um, but we have a birthday party. We have Wade rocking an awesome toupee. I loved it. And just kind of a happy, seeing everybody there, all of his friends, and you just feel like this really happy, bittersweet moment for him. And there's a knock at the door, and the TVA is there.
Yay!
So it's you're kind of like, why are the TVA there? But then if you think of how the last movie ended with Wade running amok through time, it makes sense that the TVA would not be happy that Wade did that. So he is arrested, and instead of being destroyed or whatever, they are wanting to hire him for a mission. And so Wade is introduced to the MCU. Um, and so he's
He
like,
is Marvel's Jesus.
yes. And so I know a lot of people are rolling their eyes at this. This is all from the Joe Kelly run that I started having you read. We didn't finish, but maybe we'll finish that before we get. Well, we don't have Marvel Unlimited, but we'll figure out something. That is that storyline there where he is chosen. He thinks he's a messiah, and spoilers, he finds out that they just want him to kill somebody. That's all they brought him in for. And he's like, "Wait, I thought I was supposed to be a hero," and he has like this moment of crisis. So again, spoilers for that storyline. Do you care if I spoil some of that?
Go ahead.
There is a moment at the end where the evil space messiah possesses Captain America. So you have Deadpool, a villain who's now being a hero, fighting against a hero who's now a villain, and that's the big final fight is Deadpool versus Captain America.
So, do you think they're going to get Chris Evans back?
I don't know. I could see it maybe doing that with Wolverine, where Wolverine is possessed or something, and he's the big bad at the end, and it's Deadpool trying to talk him out of it or something like that. But yeah, I definitely felt like they were borrowing from the Joe Kelly story quite a bit. That being said, they seem to be fighting in, and I don't remember what they called it on Loki, but that like end of time area where all the rubble from like different time streams goes to. It seems to be where most of the trailer is taking place. We see like the Golden Gate Bridge from X-Men 3 there. We see the 20th Century Fox logo there. We see Pyro. Pyro's there.
Yeah, Pyro.
So couple of things I've heard. We see Wolverine as Patch from the back, where he's in the tuxedo at the card table.
I've heard that's not Hugh Jackman.
Yes, I was going to say that. I've heard that it's likely Daniel Radcliffe. which is
Which
awesome.
I'm down with it.
Which I think will be really funny. Uh, spoilers if you have not heard, this movie will feature lots and lots of different Deadpools. So we'll probably get lots and lots of different Wolverines also. Let's see what else. I did notice this trailer didn't really show much at all. It was very much just Deadpool getting thrown around and hurt quite a
Yeah,
bit.
this was a 2.5 minute trailer that showed us absolutely nothing. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you want out of a trailer.
Yes, I agree, because they're keeping lots of things secret. So I'm going to play a game here where I'm going to list some things. Do we think this will appear in the movie? Yes or no? But before we get to that, overall, how'd you like the trailer? Are you excited about this?
I'm excited. I'm cautiously optimistic because, like, I need them to not pull punches. But because it's Disney, I'm afraid they are going to pull punches. Yeah, I mean, like that's about it. This is where Deadpool needs to just be like, wow, no wonder you guys need me. Your past 5 years have really sucked for you guys.
Yeah, they really need to take Marvel and Disney to the woodshed with this one. If this movie's very funny, action packed, and has tons of cameos, I think it can do well. One of the things that was concerning was they were filming this during the writer's strike, and reportedly during that portion, Ryan Reynolds was not allowed to ad lib. He had to follow the scripts exactly. So I don't know how that affected the film.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of question marks with this movie. But yeah, I am right now. I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
But I was excited for Doctor Strange too. I was excited for Thor: Love and Thunder. This is Marvel's.
You were excited for Thor: Love and Thunder.
Well, the gore, the butcher, the God Butcher story, we were excited for.
Yeah,
and they totally screwed that
butchered
up.
that.
Yes, they did. All right. So I think it'd be very funny if this movie did the portal joke again, where all the portals open. If we have different characters come out.
Like Howard the Duck.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna run through a list of characters, and you tell me if you think they're in the movie or not.
Okay.
The Bryan Singer X-Men cast.
Not completely, but yes.
Yeah, I would agree that they are in the movie. Do you think they'll be wearing the X-Men 97 outfits?
I think it depends on what universe it is. Like if they come from the universe with Yellow Wolverine, then I think so, yeah.
Okay. Taylor Swift as Dazzler.
It's looking more and more likely, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen. And I think if that does happen, I think the box office goes up.
Yes.
Fantastic Four.
I don't think they all do. I think the only one that we get would be Ian Grufford as Reed Richards.
Okay, because you have 8 possible, 12 possible Fantastic Four members if they even go back to the Corman movies. Roger.
Yeah.
We've had 3 different casts. I could see I don't see Chris Evans come back as Human Torch. Maybe I can see him as Human Torch, but I think Thing or Reed Richards might be who you would get.
I don't think it's Miles Teller. I think it's Ian what's his face.
Or it could be a mix of the 2 groups. It could be Reed and Thing from one group, Human Torch and Sue from the other group.
Yeah, but that would imply we get Michael B. Jordan back.
Oh, I forgot he was Human Torch.
Yeah.
But see, that's funny though.
It is.
Because if he comes out and he goes, "Aren't you Killmonger?" Or, they could make those jokes,
No, it'd be funny is if they got Captain America Human Torch, Killmonger, and Human Torch all in the same room.
Oh yeah, on screen at the same time.
Dude, get Happy Hogan and Foggy Nelson in the same room, and they're both
Yeah,
John
yeah.
Favreau.
That was the next question. Daredevil and Elektra.
I
Affleck
know
and what's her face? Yeah,
Jennifer Gardner is already confirmed, so that is a yes.
yeah.
As far as Ben Affleck, I don't know. That's a good question.
Would they even want to work together?
Yeah,
Ghost Rider, Nicolas Cage.
no,
Okay.
no.
I think Nicolas Cage would have said something if he was.
Well, I think he was so. I bet you he's done with superhero movies because he's just so pissed off about Flash.
It's interesting that you said that. We did not mention the news that there are rumors that he will be in the Spider-Man Noir Amazon series.
I didn't hear about that. Okay.
That was last couple of days. There's been chatter about that. There's also been chatter that they have gone. Sony went in and fired everybody in the writers' room of the Silk Show after Madam Web performed so poorly. So, so there's probably a lot of changes going on.
We also have no idea when Beyond the Spider-Verse is coming out, if it will ever come out.
Well, I think it'll come out, but yeah, we haven't heard anything since the strikes about when it's coming out. Howard the Duck.
Yes.
I feel like probably, but he's also part of the MCU, so I don't know. I could see him.
I think it'll be the Lucas version.
Oh, okay, yeah. That would make sense. I think it'd be very funny if they do a portal scene and Madam Web walks out and Deadpool's like, no, not her, and just shuts the portal or something. You know,
no. Like out of the portal comes Venom, Madam Web, and Morbius, and then they just get murked immediately.
Yeah, Morbius just gets the sunlight or something kills him instantly. Yeah.
And then like he actually comes out and says it's Morbin time.
Oh, if he's in the movie, that's definitely happening. All right, I guess Cable and Domino would be the last ones. Do you think they're in the film?
I hope so, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think they are either. All right, so I'm again cautiously optimistic. Cautious thumbs up from me on this one.
I am more optimistic about this than X-Men '97.
Yeah, I would agree. Ryan Reynolds has proven that his love for this character, and I don't think he would let them screw this up too badly.
Yeah.
Do you think they could kill Deadpool off at the end of the film? If he is the Messiah.
But then he'd have to come back, which they already killed him off and he came back to life in Deadpool 2, so.
Yeah, another question. Do you think all of this is because he killed the Wade from the Wolverine movie, that he's now created an alternate timeline or something? He did something at the end of that Wolverine movie when he killed Wade and it screwed everything up. And that Wade may be the final villain of the film, the one from the Wolverine movie.
That was my question: is who do you think is the big bad of this movie?
I feel like it's going to be that Wade, because there was the stinger ending all the way at the end of that Wolverine movie where that Wade like says shh or something, he's still alive.
Yeah.
And it would tie into the end of Deadpool to him killing him. So I feel like he's going to have to lose what's her face at the end of this movie? Vanessa. I think Vanessa has to die again because she was supposed to die and he changed everything.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that. Or another question, will she show up as Copycat, like a version of her as Copycat in this film?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
There, the different types of Deadpools that I want to see. I want to see Headpool. I want Headpool.
I think you'll probably get that. I know the dog is in it. I've seen the pictures of the dog.
I know. I think Kidpool is in it too, but
I
I can't
think
remember.
Lady Deadpool or whatever. I think she's in it. Um,
It's Taylor Swift as Lady Deadpool.
actually, I wouldn't mind that, but I think it'd be funny if you don't see who it is the whole movie, and then they unmask it's someone like Taylor Swift or something. Yeah, it's like some surprise. You're like, wait, what?
I need a scene. One of my favorite scenes are whenever Deadpool and Lady Deadpool start making out, and then they're like, "Yeah, that was weird. Let's." Who is us? Okay, so it's somebody from Percy Jackson that might be playing Kidpool.
Okay.
But yeah, like for me, I need Headpool. I just need Headpool.
Okay. And is this movie successful? I'm thinking maybe Guardians 3 money, but not much more than that. I think somewhere between 600 and 800K is what this movie's going to make.
Well, how much did Doctor Strange do?
Doctor Strange actually did, well, I want to say it was like 900K or something. Let's see, 955 million. But that movie also cost a ton of money to make, but that's not here nor there. So yeah, I don't. This movie being rated R is a big question mark of, how good it is, who's in it, will it do repeat business, will it do well overseas, lots of questions. Is Wolverine in the costume the whole movie? Is it just for one scene? Is it just a vision of the future of him wearing a costume like Madam Web? Who knows?
Oh, by the way, Madam Web ends with her losing her sight and being paralyzed.
So she turns into the comic book version. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. For the multiple sequels they're making.
So I think of the three that we're talking about tonight, this is the one that I'm the most cautiously optimistic about.
So let's move on to number 3, and what was a very strange announcement for Marvel, but I kind of dig it, and I kind of wish they'll do all the movie announcements this way, drawing them as comic book characters. We got a Valentine's Day announcement announcing the Fantastic Four cast.
And it's an interesting cast.
Yeah. Only last night I realized that Sue Storm was not played by who I thought it was. I thought it was the girl from Free Guy. It's somebody totally different.
No. So you thought it was Jodie Comer?
Yeah, she was one of the people, the contenders early on. So for some reason I just got that name stuck in my head.
No, Vanessa Kirby is in like Hobbs and Shaw and the more recent Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah, so I have not seen those movies, so I'm not terribly familiar with her.
She's okay.
Yeah. Human Torch, I believe, is, again, I didn't see Stranger Things season 3 or 4 or whatever, is the guy from Stranger Things, correct?
Yes. Joseph Quinn is Eddie. He's the one who played Master of Puppets at the end of season 4.
Okay. Thing is played by the guy from The Bear, right?
Yes.
From FX.
Yeah, Eben Moss. He plays Richie on The Bear. He was also for one of the storylines in Andor. He is phenomenal. He is actually the casting I'm the most excited about.
Yeah, and the early rumors for the casting on this was going to be the guy from Hamilton. I think Thomas Jefferson or something was the guy who played Thomas Jefferson.
Oh yeah.
I can't think of his name
Oh,
right now.
oh no, I love him though. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the casting, but I love him. No, David Diggs. David
Yeah,
Diggs.
he was the early rumored theme casting. We also have Herbie the robot there in the corner. Hello, Herbie.
Yeah,
Um,
and
and
then
then the big question mark that everybody has: Reed Richards being played by Pedro Pascal. Um, the rumor I
yay.
have heard is that they've asked several people to play this role, and they all said no, and he was the one that said yes. uh, so it's interesting casting. I don't 100% hate it, but I don't 100% love it either.
If
It's
I wouldn't have hated it if it didn't take them so long. Like just the pure fact that it took them this long to cast Reed Richards is concerning to me.
it's a really bad sign. That either means that people didn't like the money they were paying, people didn't like the script, or people just don't want to work for Marvel anymore after they've had all these disasters and you're signing away your life for like 5-10 years. So
And I don't think that the money is the issue because they got Pedro Pascal.
yeah, I think there's a script issue going on here. Or the concept. The rumor has been for a long time that this will be a Sue Storm movie centered around her. There's
Which
nothing wrong with the character of Sue. Sue has had many interesting stories, but with the Fantastic Four, I would not be focusing on one character. You focus on all four of them.
yeah. And I'm just gonna go and say it. Vanessa Kirby can't carry her own movie. I'm sorry. Like I've seen her in multiple things and she's okay, but she's not one to carry a movie.
The other thing about this film, uh, it, going by this picture and the rumors that we've heard, this is clearly going to be set in the 60s. The logo has a 60s look to it. The outfits, the Life magazine that he's reading is from the 60s. The astronaut photo thing in the background. So this is going to take place, 50 years in the, or gosh, 60 years in the past. So we are thinking that somehow at the end of the film, they will be brought to the present day.
There's a rumor that Hank Pym is going to be in the movie as a student of Reed.
Mm-hmm.
And so they might get like stuck into the quantum realm or something like that, which
Okay.
I hope that's not the case because I'm like, can we just like forget the quantum realm exists?
I would rather them get stuck in the negative zone, and then
Yeah.
you could set up a nihilist and some other fun stuff. But yeah, the rumored villain has been Galactus. I don't. I think Galactus should be your third movie villain.
I have a theory that it's gonna be one of those things where they don't entirely beat him at the end and he shows up much later.
Kind of like Dormammu at the end of Doctor Strange, where you kind of see him, but you kind of don't.
Yeah, yeah. Plus, I mean, like if they're gonna do Secret Wars, Galactus is a big part of Secret Wars.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
and like if they're gonna do part of the original Secret Wars Battle World, Galactus is the only interesting thing about that original storyline.
Uh, Doctor
Because
Doom is pretty fascinating in that, and like
that's
all the
true.
stuff with.
That's true.
Oh, if they bring back Claw, I love Claw.
Oh
That'd be
yeah.
great to bring him back as a crazy robot or whatever he is.
Um, but so with this cast was kind of rumored for a long time. Does that mean Javier Bardem is kind of a shoe in for Galactus?
Most likely, and I'm totally fine with that casting.
Oh yeah, I'm fine with that as well. Um, then there's Anya Taylor Joy as Silver Surfer, but I do believe. I mean, I just saw this like an hour ago, um, where it's like uh, Silver Surfer will no longer be played by a female. Like, I mean, that's just something that I saw. So who knows?
Yeah, I still think she would probably be Frankie Ray Nova if they're going to bring her in, which would be Johnny's girlfriend who becomes the Herald, um, which I'd be totally fine with. The other rumored casting that I am hearing, I think it's more of him campaigning for the part, is what's his name? Is it Mads Mikkelsen? Mads Mikkelsen wants to play Doctor Doom. He's been really campaigning for it.
I don't see that.
That's the only name I've heard from Doom. We don't know if Doom will be in this movie. If he's not in this movie, um, that'll be a mistake. I think you at least have to have Victor Von Doom in this film. There is a crazy rumor that I keep hearing that I don't buy this for at all. That it'll be Victoria Von Doom in this series. If they do that, this is dead on arrival. Um, well, I mean, I could see them doing that, but it is Marvel's probably one of the most popular villains.
Doctor Doom is Marvel's Lex Luthor.
Yeah, he's. I was gonna say Joker. I don't know if I'd go that high. Green Goblin feels more like their Joker, but he's definitely up there.
Well, like, so he's their Lex Luthor because Lex Luthor is the one that, you know, puts together the Legion of Doom. Doom is the one who puts together the Masters of Evil. Like, he's the rich one who has a personal. So here's the thing. The interesting thing about Lex Luthor and Victor Von Doom is if their arch nemesis did not exist, they would probably be an asset to the world. The only reason that Luthor is as bad of a guy as he is because of Superman. The only reason that Doom is as bad of a guy as he is because of Reed. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I've always said that Doctor Doom is kind of like Marvel's Lex Luthor. I did hear an interesting opinion that they should not cast a big name for Doctor Doom. They should get a voice actor.
Yeah.
That does sound interesting.
I was also going to mention that this is just concept art, but that thing looks really good. that looks like a perfect thing if that's how he's going to look in live action.
Yeah.
Thing really should be like one of Marvel's most popular characters. In the 70s, he was one of Marvel's most popular characters. And I could really see him, if they do this right, him being super popular, selling lots of toys and merchandise again for Marvel. I could see Human Torch also being super popular, but they got to get it right. They got to get the script right, and those are big question marks.
Yeah,
and this movie is a good 2 years away, so that's the other thing.
Didn't the post say something about like 2025?
That was what they were saying, but now I'm hearing it's more likely 2026. They're already talking about pushing it back to early 2026 because you'll have Thunderbolts coming out and Captain America 4 will be coming out, and then I don't see Blade coming out, but that one's also floating around. I don't know if Blade's ever coming out.
That movie's not coming out.
Yeah. But yeah, the this is my favorite version of Fantastic Four, by the
way. Daddy needs his rocks off.
Daddy needs his rocks off. Yes.
She's my daughter. Maybe. Man. I also love. So, do you remember Human Torch in this version?
Vaguely. It's been a hot minute since I've seen this.
It was Andy Richter's twin brother,
okay,
who didn't want his face out, but we're that he looks like Andy Richter.
That's right. And they kept doing the To Catch a Predator stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Anus tart. Oh man,
All right. So here we have the three big Fox properties that Marvel's giving us. They gave us previews of all of them in 1 week, which was we weren't expecting. We were just expecting Deadpool, and then we got 3 of them. So I think Deadpool we're most excited for, then probably X-Men, then probably Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four could be their
I would.
flagship movie going forward, but we'll see.
I mean, it should be.
Yeah.
Like here's the thing. In the same way that X-Men is Marvel's Batman, Fantastic Four should be Marvel's Superman. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like imagine, so let's say 2025 does happen. Imagine Fantastic Four going up against Superman Legacy. What clash?
Yeah. Fantastic Four, I mean, people don't remember this was at one time Marvel's most popular comic book when the Marvel Universe was first starting. They are the first family of Marvel. They should get an awesome movie. We just don't know if Marvel is still capable of giving us that. So yeah, these 3 things could either turn things around for Marvel or could absolutely sink Marvel forever going forward. So yeah, go ahead.
I was about to say this is the make or break. Like
Yeah. I
like
feel like
if they can't get this right, then that's it.
I don't think they've lost everybody completely. The audience completely. I think the audience would be willing to give them one more chance. People are very excited for Deadpool 3. I think X-Men 97 has people jazzed. I know some people are like, "Oh, X-Men 97 was dead on arrival." I'm like, no, I don't think you realize how popular that cartoon was and how many people will probably tune in for that. But yeah, if they get these wrong, it's gonna, it'll have to take the removal of Kevin Feige to get Marvel fans back, I think. So that's our show. Okay, go ahead.
Not just the removal, but you'll have to replace him with somebody like
a James Gunn.
You'll have to replace him like a James Gunn level, which I don't know who that would. I know who it should be, but I doubt that they're up to.
I would say either the Russo brothers or the Spider-Verse guys whose names escape me. Lord and Miller.
I don't. So I'm actually anti Lord and Miller at all at this point. I've just come down on the fact that they can't finish a movie.
Possibly,
because I mean, we're Solo.
You're roboting. I couldn't hear what you said.
Because they couldn't. So they were pulled off of Solo and replaced by Ron Howard because they had troubles in development.
Yeah, that's a whole nother talk. I think that was more of Kathleen Kennedy not paying attention to what they were doing, and then when she saw it, she hated what they had done and shut it down. But yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this up.
I'm pro. Yeah, I'm pro Russo brothers, just so everyone knows.
Yeah. Russo brothers they seem to be very talented. They would love to do a Secret Wars. And I think if they want to do that, I think Marvel should bring them on. I would also love to see what the Daniels brothers would do with Marvel. But so that's our show. We'd love to hear what you all think about these 3 properties: Deadpool 3, X-Men 97, and Fantastic Four. We don't have a show plan for next week. We're still kind of waiting to see if Nintendo does any kind of announcements. There's rumors of a partner showcase now. Every week there's a rumor there's going to be a direct or a partner showcase or something. So we'll kind of see what's going on news wise, and that'll probably be what the show about. If you like this stuff, this rambling nonsense, please hit the like button. Please share. Please leave a comment. And please join us every Sunday at 4 o'clock Eastern. We would love to have you here on Pop Culture Shark. Until then, I'm Final Monkey,
And I'm Caleb.
and we'll catch you next time in the Shark Pond.
See ya.